Well, hey everyone, this is Super M Paul. Welcome to Retro Wrestling Rewind, where we go over the old school days of wrestling, old school factions, stables, some of the greatest matches that we've had in pro wrestling history. Today, being my first official video, I'd like to showcase the wrestling match that got me officially hooked on WCW wrestling and wrestling in general. I was just flipping through the channels one day. I wasn't considering myself a wrestling fan of any sort at this point. When I was a little guy, I was big into Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, George the Animal Steel, those kind of guys from the 80s, just like every other kid was. But as I got older, I just kind of got out of it, wasn't really that big into it, until I was just flipping through the channels one day and I came across, oh, here comes Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I remembered him from the 80s, wrestling in WWF as Intercontinental Champion, and then he lost that title, and then I just never saw him again. And to see him, probably 6, 7, 8 years later on TBS of all places, I was just like, oh wow, I haven't seen him in years. So I stopped to watch, and then I see his opponent is a young wrestler by the name of Dustin Rhodes, and I was probably about halfway through the match before I realized this wasn't Death to Rhodes, Thumb of a Plumber. This was his son, the much taller, much thinner Dustin Rhodes. And this was for the United States title, which Dustin Rhodes had just won in a tournament by defeating Ricky Steamboat the week prior due to interference by Barry Windham. But this is the match that I want to show, and I really want to show it because of how they built it up towards the end. They started out very slow in the beginning, very methodical, kind of feeling each other out, a lot of scientific wrestling until it kind of devolved and tempers getting flared. But at the same time, they're not going for these the big spectacular moves that they do today. It was a slow build to get the audience engaged in the entire match all the way up until the end. So let's get to it. I want to show this, and we'll come back after it's done and see what I think after all these years. I actually haven't really watched it, so let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall or TV time remaining. It is for the WCW United States Heavyweight title. Introducing first the challenger, 241 pounds, from Charlotte, North Carolina, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. Jim Ross and Larry Zbyszko back with you. Quick reminder, next week during the broadcast, it has been signed. Sting and Dustin Rhodes next week will meet Big Van Vader and Barry Windham right here on the broadcast at 6:05 Eastern Time. And Gordon Soley will be Tony Schiavone's guest in Up Close. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Austin, Texas, 263 pounds. He's the newly crowned United States Heavyweight Champion, the natural, Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes making his way to the ring. And as you heard earlier, Ravishing Rick Rude has failed to return the United States Heavyweight Championship belt to WCW. But Rhodes, no mistaking about it, is the U.S. Heavyweight Champion. He hated the way he won the title last week due to Wyndham's interference. And the rematch is signed. This one should be a very spirited yet competitive rematch.
Should be very competitive, especially after what we saw last week. Both these men hard fight to the end, which of course you want to win, but you can't blame Dustin Rhodes for not wanting to win it that way. You can't feel self-gratified with that turn of events.
Barry Windham had a unique way of ruining both Steamboat and Wyndham's day here last week. Nice shoulder block by the United States Heavyweight Champion, comes to the near side. Good quick counter move there by Rhodes. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, one half of the Unified World Tag Team Champions. And I'll tell you, let's look at the natural.
Look at the intensity in the eyes of Dustin Rhodes. You know, after their match last week, it's going to be interesting to see who changed their strategy and how they changed it.
Side headlock takeover by Rhodes. Steamboat counters into the head scissor. Rhodes going right back to that headlock, and Steamboat not staying in that predicament very long. This match, one fall or television time remaining for the United States Heavyweight Championship.
He's got a figure four on the head and that arm barred. Steamboat's strategy seems to be almost like last week. Keep Dustin Rhodes on the mat. Dustin Rhodes, bigger man, has a height advantage. On the mat, everybody's equal.
Rhodes able to free himself and now focus on the legs of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Steamboat, as we pointed out here last week in this contest, very quick, has a speed advantage over Rhodes. I'm not saying Rhodes is slow, but Steamboat is really sudden, and this is good strategy for the natural.
Really plugging the pressure. That might have been a mistake there.
Steamboat able to counter to the hammerlock. Steamboat, that wealth of experience. Hooking an arm now.
Trying to get that half Nelson in and turn Dustin over on his shoulders, and there he goes.
In the predicament, 2 count. Again, Steamboat forcing Rhodes into that pinning predicament. These two men at one time were the World Tag Team Champions. They still are good pals.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You know much better than I. Side headlock takeover. Other side headlock. And Steamboat counters again. Steamboat quickly countering Rhodes. And that may be the biggest change in the strategy from last week until this Saturday.
Well, I think what they're going to have to incorporate is the use of a lot more combinations. One move is not enough. You need combinations. We got one heck of a chess match going on here, Jim.
Sure do. A lot of fans had some unique comments to make about this U.S. title situation last Sunday on my radio program on AM 750 WSB. And almost to the man and to the woman, they were very irate at Barry Windham. Test of strength here.
Yeah, this is really, I don't think, the Steamboat's advantage. Using up a lot of energy on a test of strength, which really isn't the issue here. Steamboat's got to wrestle.
Rhodes at 6'6", big leverage advantage. But look at Steamboat. Oh, great technique.
Good move.
Great technique by Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. You know, Steamboat and Shane Douglas, the Unified Tag Champions, has such a war right now with Flying Brian Pillman and Stunning Steve Austin. We heard the comments early in the program that the champions made right after the Clash of the Champions. That one is so volatile, to say the least, as Steamboat forces Rhodes back to the rope. Clean break.
Whoa.
Both men are trying to counter, and they both go outside.
It was a double counter.
Both men very aggressive here. And stakes, as you know.
I can't hear what they're saying.
Uh-oh. Well, the stakes so high, and the tippers are...
I get the idea of what they've been saying.
The tippers are reaching a boiling point here.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration in this match already after what happened last week. Dustin Rhodes, of course, wants to feel the gratification of finally earning a championship after all the hard time and effort he's put in. Of course, Steamboat has to feel the exact same way, being robbed at the hands of Barry Windham, maybe.
They These men both very physically vying for position here on the ropes. And Rhodes has forced Steamboat back in the corner. Referee Mike Atkins trying to go between the men. And trying to wedge his way between them. And he does. Good officiating. Well, both these men obviously. Oh, nice! Steamboat slapping, and Rhodes slaps Steamboat back.
They're losing it.
Oh, the drop kick, and there goes Steamboat. I can't believe the exchange we've just seen here. Oh, tremendous martial arts chop by Steamboat. Oh, yeah.
Boy, this has the potential of a Donnybrook if I've ever seen one. Look at the eyes in this, and these men are getting redder and redder, brother.
Well, when you're wrestling for a championship as prestigious as the United States heavyweight title, you can expect an emotional situation between great athletes. But this is somewhat surprising, as far as I'm concerned. Steamboat scoops up Rhodes and slams him with authority. Got him up there again. Steamboat. Oh! Went for the big splash. Rhodes able to make an adjustment there and drive his knee into the abdomen of Steamboat. And now he returns those body slams in kind. Drops that elbow. Right on his chest, lateral press, and Steamboat able to get a shoulder up before three. Great wrestling match.
Yeah, what a match this is. You know, it's boiling down. Who's going to make the first mistake? When tempers fly, mistakes are made.
Dustin Rhodes sets that up, could have him waist lock, and Steamboat able to kick out, and now Steamboat hooking both legs, and he got a near fall. As we said, it's one fall or TV time remaining. We'll keep our eye closely on the clock. Oh, he made it. He got the arms hook right there. Another near fall. Oh.
Quick move by Dustin Rhodes, considering his size.
Inside cradle, and Rhodes. Oh, I thought he had him there. He had him locked up, and Steamboat able to kick out of it. Boy, neither guy can really gain a big advantage. Rhodes, high cross body.
High cross body with a lot of weight.
Sleeper by Steamboat. I understand. Oh, Rhodes drove his head right up in the jaw of Steamboat. We've got approximately 1 minute of wrestling time left. Rhodes going for the cover. He wants to win it right here. And the United States heavyweight champion, 1 count away.
We got 1 minute left, but it's only in 3 seconds. We need... Oh!
Steamboat again going for the pinning combination. Rhodes with a big knee lift there. Staggers Steamboat and takes him down with a clothesline. Lateral press by the U.S. champion. And Steamboat able to kick out. We're witnessing a great wrestling match for the United States heavyweight title. He's going to win a bulldog.
Oh, too much time on the part of Rhodes. Steamboat felt that one.
We're just about out of wrestling time, ladies and gentlemen. And there's the bell. That's all of our wrestling time. This one is over. The time limit has expired. But these spirit athletes still want to hook it up.
Well, guys, go down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of that match. Me personally, I still think it holds up after all these years, at least when it comes to the tradition of actual professional wrestling, not just character-driven storylines like they were doing back then, the WWF. Like I said, I liked how they built it up. Obviously, you could tell the fans were divided because it's very rare that you see two faces going at it in the ring. And at the time, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, they were both faces or good guys in the WCW. So to see them going at it, I mean, yeah, you could hear some cheers for Dustin when he would hit a big move, or you would hear some cheers for Ricky when he would hit a big move. But again, I like the slow build-up. I like how it just started out very slow. A lot of scientific wrestling there. There was some repetitiveness there, but that was also a technique they used to get the fans riled up and into it. So you saw a series of attempts by Dustin to do a headlock takedown, and then Ricky reversed it into a head scissors, and then Dustin kick out of it, get back up, try that headlock again, only for Ricky to get him back in the head scissors and for Dustin to kick back out. And they did this a couple times, so finally Ricky traps him in that head scissors, and now this is the part where they start to really slow it down. But I liked how they slowed it way down, only to get those tempers flaring, and then they tried a series of fireman carryover reversals that end up with both of them out of the ring. And you can also notice back then the lack of padding around the ring, which has been noted multiple times as basically a marketing technique by Cowboy Bill Watts, who was the executive vice president of WCW at the time. He thought by taking the pads away from the rings, that WCW was showing, hey, we're the big boys. We're tougher than those WWF guys. They have to have little pads around the ring. Well, I guarantee you those WCW wrestlers wouldn't have minded having some padding either. So, but yeah, that's overall what I thought of the match. I thought it was a great match. It personally got me hooked. I was like 12, 13 years old, I think, when I saw this match. And yeah, I was hooked enough to go back the next week and check it out again, and ended up seeing a great tag team match between Sting, Dustin Rhodes, and Vader and Barry Windham. So, and I'll showcase that on my next video. That's the one that really got me hooked. That's when I started watching WCW Saturday night, every Saturday. And if I wasn't watching it, I was taping it and watching it later. So, but again, hit that subscribe button below, and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Take care. Later.